All right, so let's find an example here for a long signal here. All right, so we need 2 down candles followed by an up candle, and the wick in the middle would need to be extended lower. So I think we have one right here. So there we go. And wow, as luck would have it, sometimes the market does like to work with you. And right there, that would be a short. So that would be the setup for a short. So we have 2 up candles with the last up candle, or the one in the middle, having a taller wick, and then followed by a down bar. All right, so let's get BloodHound open. And oh, yeah, that's right. There was an update pushed out this week. All right, so first thing we want to do is put today's file name in, so we can save this our work in BloodHound. There. All right, so to get started here, I'm just going to start working on the logic tab here so we can get to the logic board. So let's see. All right, something like that. Anyways, you probably want to come up with some kind of a name here for your logic template. Or at least a good name for the file name. So, and then I guess typically you just name your logic template like entry signal or something like that. Pretty common. All right, so let's see. We need two up bars followed by 2 down bars. So this is going to be fairly simple. So let's start with the bar direction solver there. Let's connect that in. And let's look for two bars. And then to change the settings here, number of bars, let's change number of bars to 2, like so. And there we go. So now we can see on the second bar in the same direction, right, we start getting signals here. So as long as the bars keep pointing in the same direction, right, we'll get an output here. Let's see. Yeah, interesting enough. It also looks like we have possible up signal right there. Looks like, yeah, we're having overlapping conditions here. Cool. So taking a closer look here, well, actually, that's gonna get a little too confusing there. Let's get rid of that. So taking a look at this, right, our first up bar and then our second up bar. Now, ultimately, this is going to be a short signal, right? So just remember what direction we want the signal to be. So, right, so ultimately we want a short signal on there, and we're going to want this to be a long signal over here. So these 2 up bars, you know, we're going to need to reverse this long output into a short output, right? So let's see here. Let's grab a long short modifier. And if we connect that in, like so, there. Now we can see, right, these 2 up bars, that long output was now converted to a short output, or red, right? So, all right, and we're just using the default mode here of swap, right? We're using the swap mode there. So what I like to do is just rename this solver here, or node, I should say. This isn't a solver, this is a function node. So I just like to rename these function nodes here to kind of tell me what they're doing. So there we go. And we need to do one more thing here. So we need a look back node. And so remember, right, we need the signal where this arrow is going to be, right? But this 2 bar, you know, but the bar direction solver, right, it's giving us an output on the last up bar. So we need to take this output and push it forward onto the next bar, right? In hopes that the next bar is our down bar, like so. So we can use the look back node to do that, and we're going to use the displacement function, and it's already set to 1 for us. So again, we don't need to make any changes to the look back. So, but I do like to again rename this function node to tell me what it's doing. So I'm just going to use a displacement of 1 here as the name. So if I plug that in, and let's start moving some stuff back here a little bit. And now if we look at the chart, there we go. So the output, so these two up bars, the output was reversed or swapped to a short and then pushed onto the next bar here. And so now we need another bar direction solver, right? And if we just take a look at this standard bar direction solver, right, it is giving us a short on this short bar. So let's see here. So now let's join these together with an AND node. So let's see, let's take some examples. So yeah, so here we go. Here's some examples, right? So we had 2 up bars, and now we're getting short output, right? We're getting a short output, but we're getting a short output on up bars, right? These are up bars here, right? And obviously that's wrong. So if we take this bar direction, it will help get rid of those, right? So there we go. So we got rid of a few of those, incorrect signals. All right. Now this is a down bar, so that's partially correct. However, the wicks, obviously the wicks are not correct yet. So we still need to build that condition here that checks the length of the wicks. So we're getting there, right? Oh yeah, even this 2 down bar followed by an up bar, right? So there's our long signal for these 3 bars. And then for these 3 bars, there's our short signal. And if we look over here, right, there's our up signal. So we're getting there, but we definitely need to get rid of this guy here. So let's identify that. So there, we need to get rid of that signal there because, right, this wick here is shorter than the previous and the latter. So this is definitely incorrect. And let's see, we might have some other correct ones. Yeah, so here's a correct one. Let's see, yeah, this one looks correct. Let's see, yeah, we're gonna get rid of that one. So let's move this over here. So we'll get rid of that signal. And I think that one might be okay. Let's see, 2 down and another up. I think that one will be okay. Yeah. So it's amazing, actually, interesting. We're getting a bunch of repeating signals. Well, not signals, I should say patterns in this little section of my chart. So, and let's see, yeah, we'll get rid of this one over here too. So there we go. So there's a few signals here that we'll get rid of once we take a look at the wick conditions here. All right, so looking at the wicks, simply put, so we're going to look at this from this bar's standpoint here. So let's scroll this over. All right, so the bar that the bar that should have the signal on it, or the signaling bar, so when this bar closes, right, so we're going to look back from the standpoint of this bar here. So first thing we need to do is compare, right, the high price to the high price of the bar back. And then we're going to need to look 1 bar back and compare that high price to 2 bars back and compare it to that high price to make sure that the middle bar's wick is the highest one. We're going to have to do 2 comparisons, right? So we'll compare this bar to 1 bar back, and then with a separate solver, we'll compare this bar to that bar back. So let's grab a comparison solver and get started here. All right, so with the comparison solver, let's see, we want to use price. All right, so we're looking at the highs and the lows of the bar. So we're going to put both the input A and input B onto price. So let's see here. So so in this situation, we're generating a short signal here. So we're going to look at the price type for short signals here, and we're using the high of the bar, right? So for this short signal, we're looking at the highs of the bar. So let's put both of the price type short, put both of these on the high. And then we know for a long signal, we're using the low wicks, right? So let's change these to the low price, like so. Right. So a look back period of 1, well, that's going to be, right, the most recently closed bar. So that's going to be this bar. And if we want to look back 1 bar, we need a look back period of 2. Okay, so now we need to check the outputs here. So A is going to be less or lower than input B, right? Remember, input A is this high price here. Input B is the high price of 1 bar back. So, and we want to generate a short output. So we want A less than B. So actually the default settings work out just fine for us. So, and we do get a short output on this bar. So we know that's correct. So, and we don't have to worry about the long outputs here, right? Because the rest of our logic is filtering that all out. So if we take a look here, if we connect this in, there, we're starting to get some filtering. So already we got rid of this signal here. And let's see if we got rid of some more. Yep, we got rid of that signal as well. And we got rid of this signal too. So we got rid of all 3 of them. So, however, we're not done yet. Let's see if find a bad signal here. Oh yeah, here we go. Perfect. We actually found one here. So here we go. So we have our 2 up bars. However, right, the first up bar, it has the highest wick of all 3 bars. Right? So remember, the middle bar needs to have the highest wick. So this would be a bad signal here. There we go. So we need we need to check the middle bar wick to the previous bar back here. All right, so let's see here. Before we move on, let's give this a name here, right? So, all right, so we know this solver is, right, comparing bar 1 to bar 2. So let's grab another comparison solver. And let's connect this in, like so. All right, let's see. This will be bar 2 to bar 3 wick comparison here. All right, and so again, basically, we're just going to repeat what we've done here. So let's set all of these to price again, input A and input B. And then for short, we want the high price. So for longs, we want the low price. There. So now we know that we want to look back 2 bars there. And then for input B, we want to look back 3 bars. And so now this time we want, let me grab an arrow. There we go. This time, right, we want bar 2, we want the high wick to be greater than the previous bar, right? We want the middle bar, or bar 2, to have the higher wick than one bar back, right? So in other words, input A, we want input A to be greater than input B, right? So remember, bar 2 is input A, and this is input B. So bar 2 is going to be greater for a short. So we want A to be greater than B for the short output here. So let's put an output there and turn the other ones off, and then let's reverse the long output as well, like so. There. And let's see here. And yeah, so we're getting no output, right? Remember, this is the signaling, the possible signaling bar, and there's no output, which is correct, right? Because remember, the first bar, or the third bar, has the higher wick than that, right? So the condition that we're looking for is not true, so we actually should not be getting an output there. Right? So if we take a look, if we connect everything up correctly here, and then if we connect in this one here, there we go. Our signal gets removed. So perfect. All right, so let's scroll forward and take a look at everything. All right, so that does it. Let's see here. And there was another component here. Let's see. Let me get back to the email here. So basically, that's the candlestick pattern. And then also, Daniel would like to incorporate a 60-minute time frame of the 14 EMA. Yeah, as kind of a trend determination. Yeah, as a higher time frame trend. All right. So let's throw that in here for good measure as well. All right. So if we want to use a 60-minute time frame, then let's go back to our solvers tab and let's add a 60-minute chart. Right. So here we go. There's a 1 minute. So let's change it to a 60-minute, like so. Okay. So now we can switch back to the logic board here, and note here on the chart, right? BloodHound's saying that we need to press F5 before, right, to add that 60-minute chart here. So yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and do that now. So let's reload the chart. There we go. And let's go back to our logic board. So now if we go to the solvers node, right, we have the charts time frame, the default time frame, and then we have the 60-minute time frame as well. And so let's grab a slope solver, right? So we're going to be looking at the slope of the 14 EMA. And scroll in here. There we go. There it is. Let's connect this into the result node here. And let's give this a name. Here. All right, and let's change our input indicator to the EMA. And there we go. So, if we take a look at this, it looks like on a 60-minute chart, we're in a slight uptrend. Yeah, it looks like the market's just switched to an uptrend on the 14 EMA. And let's see, it looks like earlier today it was in a downtrend. Yesterday, yep, so, okay. All right, so all we need to do now is take our 60-minute trend filter there and connect it into that AND node as well. And there we go. Now we have some filtered signals. So let's delete everything. Yeah, there we go.